of manipulation. Sounds very bad and evil, right? The word manipulation has been associated with negative connotations for a long while. But today, I am going to try and change your perspective of it. Firstly, I would like you guys to raise your hands if you have ever felt manipulated in your life. That's quite an expected response. For those of you who raised your hands, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. And for those of you who did not raise your hands, let me break your little bubble that you guys are being manipulated every single day. Now, the next question in our feeble human minds would be how? Have you guys ever seen these? These are the perfect example of mass media manipulation. They target a specific group of audiences and make them believe in the ideas which these movies are expressing, or sometimes make them believe in the complete opposite. Because manipulation is so subtly woven into our lives that it is extremely, extremely easy to miss. In fact, you guys are being manipulated since the day you were born. And how is that? Our parents and teachers have been constantly manipulating us in their own little ways to help us fit into the society according to what they believe is right and wrong, which is definitely not harmful for us because whatever they are doing is for our own good. And then we become teenagers. That is when we come across a certain type of friend. The kind of friends who use us for their own betterment by using simple manipulation tactics like gaslighting, guilt tripping, feigning ignorance, and lastly, faking their emotions. I really believe that there is no need to explain how it feels to be manipulated. Being manipulated is not making you the bad person or the person who is manipulating you the bad one. Because everyone has their own needs. And sometimes people just use a different kind of approach. And in our case, it's manipulation. But today, I am going to share my journey from how I came from someone who was often manipulated to become the master manipulator I am today. P.S. I'm definitely not a bad person. For starters, let's begin with talking about what kind of trait do most manipulators target. Again, I'm saying most manipulators because some manipulators really do target some really rare traits that you might have. First up on the table is having a low self-esteem. Now you're going to say that everyone has a low self-esteem at this time of day. Everyone has low confidence. But do you really think it's all right for you to wear a board of your insecurities for everyone to look at them? Because you often say things like, why am I not enough? Why do I look so fat here? Why can't I get this right ever again? Why do I so bad in this class? Because you know that manipulators have been targeting you for these insecurities as you have been portraying them constantly. And manipulators often say things like, you look a little bit plump today. Did you not go to the gym? Why are you looking so pale? Have you stopped using makeup? Sounds familiar? Manipulators use fake, sympathetic, fancy words because they know the moment they do, you're going to feel that little sympathy and you will go back running to them again and again. The only way to get rid of this is to chin up and accept yourself for who you are and manipulate yourself into believing that whatever you are doing and however the way you look, you are just more than enough. The next trait is something that you absolutely need to get rid of. And it is not being able to say no or not being able to set boundaries. Do you really think it's all right for people to have an astute mindset about you, to constantly insult you or to use you and leave your weaknesses out there for everyone to see? Of course it is not. But manipulators use this guilty conscience in you and often guilt trip you, which is a method which is commonly used amongst almost all of the manipulators. This is when, even if you have committed a slightest mistake, let's take an example where you have cursed at the person. And they will say things like, you cursed at me that day and I didn't even say anything. And you can't even do this for me. You really are just like other people. You're not nice at all. Will you still not do this for me? And of course, any normal person would feel guilty enough to get to whatever thing that they are asking you to do. But perhaps one of the best behaviors that life has taught us is the ability to say no. So go ahead, buddy, and use that word and build those boundaries because no one else is going to be able to do that for you. Then comes in play gaslighting, the winner of all this game, which is when someone makes you question your own perception of reality. For example, in a situation where you have gone through a fight with this person and the person has used some harsh words, but when you're confronting them about it again in a few days later or in the same day, they are going to say things like, I didn't even say that. Do you really think I will say those things about you? You really think that I was lying that day? Of course I was not. Think again. And saying that 5 or 6 times is definitely going to make you question your perception of reality. And the only way to realize this is to be able to be living in your own opinions and beliefs and not letting them be influenced easily. As soon as I realized that I was abandoned in these ways, having a low self-esteem and not being able to set boundaries, I instantly started to get rid of them, started to gain the confidence, and started saying no. That is when I actively realized the people who were manipulating. And I cut them off from my life because I'm not going to let someone be there who is manipulating me and affecting me negatively in my emotions. Next, ever thought that manipulation could have positive effects? Of course it can. The positive side of manipulation enables you to harness its power and become a powerful and more confident version of yourself. Of course, it is just a subjective opinion, but as a person who has went through that change, I really do know that manipulation has allowed me to become the more confident and powerful person I am today. Let's look at the dictionary definition of manipulation, which is to control or handle a situation skillfully. I don't see any negative word here. It is because the negative version of manipulation is just the perception of the society that they have created in their mind. And today, I am here to change that. The first and foremost step to become a manipulator is to be able to control your own emotions. You really have to know when you have to cry, when you have to become angry, or when you have to show any sort of hysteric emotion. Because in my opinion, life is just a game where end goal is death for everyone. But what matters is how many points you have earned them. And for me, it was never exactly how I've earned them, and hence I took the path of manipulation. When a person is telling a sad story about their life, you maybe really want to laugh on it or just completely ignore it, but you cannot. And why is that? Because every single human being at some point in their life requires sympathy. And giving that sympathy to someone will allow you to gain more points in their life. The quickest way to gain control and master your own emotions is a method called cognitive reframing by Mr. Aaron Beck. This is a method where you often negate your own negative emotions by using the positive one. For example, you're looking at a picture of yourself and you're saying that, why do I look so fat here? Why am I so ugly? You can always negate it by saying that I put efforts in myself today. I know that I am beautiful and I always will be because the mirror always tells the truth. Doing that often again and again and making a habit of it is going to change your own perception about yourself and helping you gain that confidence and slowly that control over your own emotions. Next up, let's divide manipulation into two parts. The good one, which is persuasion, where you make people do what they want to do and get your goals achieved. Whereas coercion is the bad one, which some of the people often experience actively in their life, where people make you do what you do not want to do by using emotional warfare and achieving their goals. Let's take an example of a TV show. The protagonist uses the technique of persuasion by collecting like-minded people and helping them get to their goals first and then allowing them to help him. Whereas the antagonist does the complete opposite, not caring about someone else's emotions and just focused on their goal by using emotional manipulation, guilt tripping and gaslighting, the techniques which I discussed before, and hence becoming the bad guy. This was enough about the little meanings that manipulation holds. Let's get on to the main game, which is the manipulation matrix. This is a matrix which is often used in businesses, but today I have molded into something that will fit exactly into our context. Firstly, instead of the user, Let's call it a person, otherwise it's going to sound horribly wrong. First, we will look at the peddler, and in our case, who is the persuader? The persuader holds a charisma that puts everyone at ease and often uses persuasive communication and storytelling to put forth and bring about change in other people's beliefs and opinions. This kind of tactic in the matrix allows both the parties to benefit and not harming anyone emotionally, as someone is changing their own opinion actively by hearing about someone else. This is similar to the peddler in the matrix because the peddler uses these skills to increase the sales of a business, whereas the persuader uses it to bring about a positive change in life. Then we have the orchestrator, or in the matrix, the facilitator. The orchestrator is the slightly toxic manipulator. But when put in a suitable environment, they are the kind of leaders that uplift everyone around them. The orchestrator has skills that allows them to manipulate the setting and timing of a place, change the ambience by their words, control people in a mass manner. That is what orchestrators are. And in the matrix of business, the facilitators often know when they have to release the sales or when they have to know and release about a product, hence increasing the sales of the business. Then coming up, we have the most toxic one of them all, the entertainer, or the one you basically see every day in your life. I really believe that there is no need to change the name of this one as it suits. These kind of entertainers often use the techniques which I have discussed before, emotional manipulation. They just do manipulation just for the sake of it because they enjoy having control over someone else's emotion. These are the kind when you look around, you will spot them very easily if you look at it actively. Then we have the dealers. They are sort of neutral because they completely change themselves according to the situation and do not affect anyone else. According to the situation, the environment and the setting, they mold their personalities to suit the situation, and hence controlling and manipulating the people around them to making them believe whatever the manipulator is trying to, and hence making them the normal one and not affecting someone else negatively. So that, my friends, was something what manipulation matrix is. It is up to you to find out where you fit in this or completely create a new box for yourself. Remember, my friends, manipulation is not about knowing when you have to control the string. It is about knowing when you have to let them dance. Thank you and have a nice day ahead.